second to last, but with the way my staff is punching out, this will be the last one today. Yes. And then we'll figure it out. If I can squeeze another one in, I'll send an email to everybody, and probably won't be next week, but maybe in a couple weeks I'll be able to do something again.
Well, thanks for doing them.
You betcha. Yeah. I kind of want to revert back, all the way back, if you will, to full swing when we started talking about the fundamentals that we had to have. So when I started thinking about that, what were things that stuck out to you? That I
Lead with your hips.
Yeah.
But even before, like fundamentals, like things. Balance, but that would go with posture, right? And so when we have the conversation about posture, we're going to stand tall. We're going to flatten out. We all have natural pelvic tilt, which creates a gap right there, right? I'm going to try to flatten that out, so I'm pulling my hips under a little bit more. I'm flattening my belt, waistline, if you will, a little bit. Head's back, and now I'm bending from my hips, which makes me top heavy, and adding knee flex for balance. It's that ready position I get into for guarding somebody, waiting on the serve in tennis, and just being athletic, right? If I stand taller and don't have as much bend, I'm much more apt to have up and down. I'm much more apt to have more moving parts to create length of swing, create the motion, right? The more movement I have, the more things I have to control. So when I'm out there playing with Charlton and he makes me really nervous because he hits it 40 yards by me, how do I control all that stuff? I don't know. Maybe one time it's good, another time it's not quite as good, right? So I want to give myself the best platform to swing off of that I can. And I've got a myriad of things that we're going to do here today that kind of reinforce that. But absolutely, posture, and I would throw balance as a subtitle to posture. If I'm giving away balance, if my feet are coming off the ground and I'm doing a lot of up down and I'm on my toes or too much on my heels, it's impacting how the club is traveling around, and it's making it less consistent. And who here wants to be less consistent?
How do you know when you have too much knee bend? I tend to bend my knees a lot.
So do you remember the check in the mirror? Anyone? What was the reference point? If I got out in front of a mirror, I was bending right forward and added knee flex for balance. How do I know? If I dropped a stick from the inner part of the arm, it would graze the kneecap and end up in the ball of the foot. If I'm too far over, now it's out in front of me, right? And if I sit too much, now the line, the stick goes behind my knee and more into the heel of my foot. We can learn a lot of things from spending just a little bit of time in front of a mirror. Some of your best practice won't be necessarily hitting lots and lots of golf balls. It'll be doing some of the things that we're going to talk about today. What else?
I don't know if it's a principle, but something I remember that works well for me is swinging through to the target, not at the ball. I don't know how I'm phrasing that.
So I'm trying to back it up even before I get started. So I got posture.
Correct?
Yeah, it's the only connection to the golf club, right? So my grip check, left hand goes on the grip so that my left hand thumb rides down the right hand side of the grip. Right hand, for all of us righties, the crease in the palm of my right hand is going to cover up that thumb so that my right hand thumb rides down the left hand side of the grip. And if I do that, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the T's are on top of the grip. I don't see this. Again, this is going to greatly impact my ability to swing the golf club. Now I'll see variations where people have really strong right hands. Just trying to keep it as neutral as possible. Last piece of the puzzle then is aim. And so I've said it before, if I'm going to make the effort to practice, right? I'm going to create a station. That station is going to have a stick on the ground that is pointed slightly left of my target. Why left? Because when I put the club down behind the golf ball, I want the club pointed right at the target. I might even add another stick for ball position because I want to make sure that I keep that ball position where it should be. If I start moving the ball forward or back in my stance, that's going to impact how we're going to swing, isn't it? What we discovered with the driver, the ball was too far back, so now I started hitting down on it. Well, as I started hitting down, I decided I needed to lift up because I didn't have enough space for the club to swing. So when you struggle, it's typically out of that base. My grip change, more often than not, is my posture, and the balance change, and it's throwing the whole thing off. When I swing the club, I want to have speed and power. So if I take my whippy stick here, right, and I hold it here, when I come down, see how that ball moves out in front? But what do you notice about my feet? They're planted. How about my shoulders? They're kind of square or close to the target, right? As soon as I start doing this, I can't control the weight of it. And my shoulders in weight on my feet is changing. I'm gonna have a hard time making connection with the golf ball. I want to attack that thing from the inside. I want to get that club to snap and give that power and energy through the ball towards my target. With me so far? So let's talk about posture and stability a little bit. I got my lovely foam roller. I could flip it the other way and make it really hard if I wanted to. Right? Use either side I want. So what am I forced to do right now? Engage my legs. That's my base. So if I took a medicine ball here, I'm going to work on turning back. It's really hard to do, but I really have to control the movement. What do you notice about my feet or knees? They're not, I'm staying wide, right? It's the platform that I'm going to swing off of. So I've got all this stored energy that I created by loading up my core and my trail leg. Now it's about me giving that energy away in the proper sequencing. So what leads? Hips, shoulders, arms. What would I do if I wanted to throw the ball farther? I'd have to create a little bit more energy, right? So it's a little bit more firing. I might even hop into it a little bit. You watch baseball players or football players when they really want to throw one, right? They get more energy moving towards the target. I'll leave this here if anyone wants to try. Balance pillow, same effect. When I take the club back, more of my weight moves to my right side. Now I want to push down on that pillow so that I can deliver the club to the golf ball. That helps me create speed and energy. So the kinematic sequence is ground up. Again, when I see people struggling to get the ball going in the right direction, they're usually swinging top down. It is shoulders first and maybe even club first, and they're going this way. I just unplugged all the power sources, right? How am I creating speed and power? By just putting I want to have the feeling. Don't tell Shauna I stole her lazy Susan. Couple 3 weeks ago or so, I think I had those red Rotex motion pieces out. Same effect as this lazy Susan. It's under my right foot. When I load up, see, I'm not letting it turn. I'm trying to keep it still. If I let it go this way, what's happening to the weight of my foot? It's rolling to the outside, and I just moved off the golf ball, right? I'm going to have a lot of movement back to the ball if I'm going to have a chance to hit it properly. So with my good posture, I just kind of load into this corridor. I should feel, especially now that I'm losing flexibility, engagement in my glute, hamstring, quad, little push into my instep of my trail foot. I'm loading up that area. I didn't let it roll. Almost as if somebody was grabbing my belt loop and pulling me back. I'm kind of sitting into that hip, if you will. Make sense? So I started off with good posture. tilted from my hips, added knee flex for balance, and now I'm starting to work on loading up. Load, getting my back to the target, loading this trail leg corridor, creating tension. The medicine ball is a great tool for that, as are bands. Everybody come on down here real quick. PT bands, right? This one's pretty flexible. I'm not going to do a whole lot with it. I just wrapped it around the thing and hands are underneath. I haven't stretched today, so I'm just going to take the bands, just get them where there's a little bit of tension, a little fight back, and now I'm going to work on turning away from the target. And as I do, the bands are getting engaged, my core is getting engaged, my feet are having to hold on to the ground. I'm starting to stretch those muscles that I want to use in my golf swing. I can do the same thing. Fitness Anywhere Super Flex bands. That is a golf package I bought many years ago. So I'm just going to put that one under my foot. Stay quick, okay? I can only control this if I stay wide, if I stay planted into the ground. And I can tell you as you do that, my core is firing, my legs are working hard. It's not going to feel like that in the golf swing because I'm moving. I'm not in a position, I'm not holding anything for that long. But this gives me a good idea when I'm making practice swings with the sensation that I would like to have. Well, I feel all wound up and I can give that away and have a lot of speed and power, right? Boxers who throw punches like this, pitchers who throw, they're not striking anybody out or knocking anybody out, right? It's only when they unload that energy that they deliver a lot of speed and power.